Hello YouTube. I have a gigantic book haul for you guys today. I've been accumulating books for the past week and a half or so, and it has culminated into this. I have 40 plus books. I'm not exactly sure how many. And this is gonna be a really long video, so I'm gonna get started immediately. I teased you guys with this one. This is the one has been melted due to the insane heat here in Oklahoma, but it's called Total War, and I haven't taken those stickers off yet. I'll do that when I try a repair on this. But it's a one-volume history of the war, and the reason I got it was because of that. It's a little pelican imprint of penguin. They did some like nonfiction stuff. But I've never seen I've seen some mass markets that they did, which is neat, but I haven't seen a trade paperback. So, I had to get that. And let's see what else. I'll do these two. I got these at a thrift shop pretty near to me, and they were 50 cents each. I got True Grit by Charles Portis and Boone's Lick by Larry McMurtry. Let's see. I got this one at the book sale I went to yesterday, and it is called The Vermilion Gate. And this cool old hardcover. The dust jacket's a little messed up. Whoops, sorry, thumb reveal. I crushed my thumb in a car door, so it's looking real ugly. But yeah, this was kind of a gamble. I don't know anything about the book. I know nothing about the author. I'm not even going to try to say that name, and at risk of embarrassing myself. But yeah, I thought the cover was cool, and it says it is a novel of a far land down there. I'm gonna put these here. Okay. We'll do this one. This is the Portable North American Indian Reader. And this is the most boring Viking portable cover I have ever seen. I don't know why. I mean, could have done something cool, I feel like, but like they do with every other, anthology they do. But yeah, this one, I mean, I'm excited to read it though. That's what's really important. And same on both sides. I'm familiar with Thomas Berger and Vine Deloria Jr., though I haven't actually read anything by Vine Deloria Jr. I think his son wrote one that I started reading and didn't quite get through because it was a little bit too steep for me. Like it's like a study in it's like a sociological study, but it's called Indians in Unexpected Places. And I think, was it Thomas Deloria? I don't know, but I'll get to that one someday. But in the meantime, this one will do, of course. Let's see. Okay, this one I did order online. I really kind of try not to, but when I do, I use thrift books, and that's where I got this. Excuse me. And heard about this through Steve Donahue. And it is by David Byrne, Sundiver. It's pretty good shape. Ordering online is always a gamble because it's either in worse condition than the seller says it is, or it gets, pummeled by shipping. Let's see. Okay. Here we have Ariosto's Orlando Furioso, and this is like a poem, or like an epic poem or something of a deranged knight who is immortal, which is not a good combination for other people. But yeah, I'm actually very, very excited for this. I've been looking for a while for like an edition I would like, and this one will definitely do. Here we have Akenfield, in English, A Portrait of an English Village. And it's by Ronald Blythe. Sorry, when I see it on the camera, it's like backwards, so I have to look at it. But this is kind of like just place writing or regional writing. And it's something that I would like to do someday, either for the town where I'm from or where I end up living. Here we have Vert by Jeff Noon. I have heard that this is a good, underrated science fiction novel. And the back here says, it is the Clockwork Orange of the 90s, which does not give me hope. I really didn't like A Clockwork Orange, the movie or the book. So hopefully it has some other appeal, some appeal other than that. Here we have Lars Gustafsson, the tennis player. Saw this in a Half Price Books. It's super short. Okay, I'm gonna start holding up this. It's super short, and that's the reason I got it. Because I figured, it's no big time investment. I could read it in a day pretty easily. It's only 92 pages. But it's about a tennis player. I think it's like a foreign professor who comes to the Austin, Texas for the university. Horns down. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. Here we have Queen Elizabeth I, a biography by J.E. Neal. This is just such a cool cover. Let's see, when was this published? This one was 1957. Wow. So, yeah, that'll be cool. Here we have a mentor book. The Conquest of Peru by William H. Prescott. And I've never seen it in a mass market. God, sorry. You guys probably don't want to see my thumb. Okay, this one is a Steve Donahue book. Most of these books, honestly, are influenced in one way or another by Steve Donahue, so I might just have to stop giving you guys that preface or whatever. But this is The Journeyer by Gary Jennings. And look at that cover. Isn't that so cool? Spine there. Maybe I'll make this the thumbnail. But, yeah. This is like a super long, I think it's 1,050 pages. But it's about Marco Polo and the journeys of Marco Polo. So that's really cool. Put this here. Here we have a John Toland novel. Didn't know he wrote any novels, but it's called Gods of War, and it's like a World War II epic novel. A little bit beat up. I try to repair that somehow, maybe some tape. Oops. Okay. Here we have the Oxbow Incident, which is just like a classic Western that I haven't read. And that's a cool cover. Look at that. Nobody else is in color except for the guy that's staring at a noose in the foreground. Yeah, real cool. Here we have a neat penguin. The Whispering Land by Gerald Durrell. And this one's about I believe it's like a travel writing in, Patagonian shores and tropical forests in the Argentine. 4 additions to his private zoo. Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, still cool. Here we have the Portable Melville, and in like a real old Viking Portable edition. Sorry, I thought I saw someone outside my window. But two novels. It has Taipei and Billy Budd. And I'm trying to see what else it has. Has Bartleby the Scrivener, early and later poems, journals, marginalia, and other writings. I wonder if it has anything from Moby Dick in here. Has a lot of his letters, of course, which will be interesting. I don't see anything about Moby Dick. That's interesting, huh? Maybe it expects you to have already read Moby Dick, which you should if you haven't. Here we have Meow by Perez Galados. And I assume that's how you say it, meow. But the back here is unintentionally a little bit risque. And I'm not going to say that aloud, but two famous authors' names are by each other. Oh, oh. You see that there? Not going to say that. We're going to keep it PG. Here we have Straight as the Gate by Andre Gide. Sorry if I butchered that. And this was kind of just, I don't know, I saw it and the cover stood out to me. And I was like, yeah, I'll just try it out. I really like these old vintage, these cover designs here. Very pretty. Here we have Sand World, which is stranded on a strange planet with a race of alien vampires by Richard A. Lupoff. And this one, okay, this one's also very risque. Both of these people are very scantily clad, but I didn't know Kurt Vonnegut did this. It's called Venus on the Half Shell, but as you can see there, it's by Kilgore Trout, which is a fictional character in Kurt Vonnegut's universe, and there's Kilgore Trout in disguise. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see how this is. This one sounds really cool. It's like alternate history. It's Tunnel Through the Deeps by Harry Harrison. And I'll just read the back to you. The time is the 1970s, sort of. The place is Earth, in a way. The project, build a tunnel from England to her colonies in America under the Atlantic Ocean. Captain Gus Washington, engineer extraordinary, wrestles with awesome problems to complete the tunnel and redeem his family's name. For Gus is a direct descendant of the famous trader of long ago, George Washington, who led a failed rebellion in the 1700s. Harry Harrison, okay, that's talking about the author. Anyways, that sounds really cool to me. I do wonder how it'll play, the George Washington part will play in, because I don't know how you could still be disgraced 250 years later, or 200 years later, I guess. Anyways, here we have The Optimist's Daughter by Eudora Welty. I've read some short stories by Eudora Welty, and I've enjoyed every single one I've read. So I'm going to try out a novel. Here we have a C.S. Forester, a Hornblower novel, and this is from the bookstore I went to, and it's been there since 2011. So it's been sitting there for 15 years. But this is cool because it's a UK edition, mass market paperback, in fairly good shape, and I haven't read any of the Hornblower novels, but I'm going to slowly try to accumulate some of them and, try to read them close together. Okay, and here I actually have another Hornblower novel, and this time in hardcover. Captain Horatio Hornblower. Look at that cover. I think it's cool. And same reason I got the other one. Okay, here we have a neat one. This is literary criticism. I don't have a lot of interest in literary criticism, but this is Mimesis by Eric Auerbach. And this might be the exception to the rule for me. because it's apparently it's just written well in a non-obfuscating way, which a lot of literary criticism seems to be written in. So yeah, I got it for, I think, $3 maybe. Yeah, $3. I mean, probably struggle to find it cheaper. Okay, and this one is also from Steve Donahue's Guns of August video he did. And I was so excited to see this because I had just read Flashman at the Charge. And so this is a nonfiction, or it's like a history of the Crimean War, and more specifically the charge and why it happened, because it was such a stupid decision, basically charging into the middle of Russian fortifications with a light brigade, and they got mowed down, of course, and almost all of them died. And the light brigade knew certainly that they were going to die. Yes, see, there's not to reason why, there's but to do and die. And that kind of sums up the light brigade, and I believe that's from Tennyson's poem. I would imagine it is. It'd be kind of crazy not to quote Tennyson's poem on something like that, but anyways. The Reason Why by Cecil Woodham Smith. Cecil, whatever. Here we have a John McGahern novel, and it's called That They May Face the Rising Sun. I think it's a pretty cover. Just spine there. And I got this because reading the back sort of reminded me a little bit of Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates, which immediately after reading, I didn't feel like I liked that much, but as time has gone on, I've realized I really did kind of like it. Like, it was a very, very, very sad book, but of course very affecting, Okay, here we have the Oxford Book of Short Stories, edited by V.S. Pritchett. And I wasn't going to get this, but as I was flipping through the table of contents, I saw one by Bret Harte, who I've not heard of. It's called The Iliad of Sandy Bar. And then it has, let's see, it's got, all sorts of people. It's got Nathaniel Hawthorne, Edgar Allan Poe, Mark Twain, Ambrose Bierce, Henry James, Sherwood Anderson. It's got James Joyce, which I've read Dubliners. I read Dubliners, and I don't know. I didn't like it too much. Anyways, yeah. Oh, and V.S. Pritchett included one of his own in here, so I guess that's what you get to do if you're the editor. Okay. We have Open to Ground by Seamus Heaney. Haven't read any poetry by him, and this is just poetry from, I think, 69 to 90, or 66 to 96. And I've read his translation of Beowulf, and that's it. So having some of his poetry, I've heard good things about his poetry, so having some of it here will be very cool. Okay, here we go. I have John Barth, The End of the Road. This is a novel. I haven't read any John Barth. He's kind of got a cult following, a lot of people really, really love him. Okay, here we have, you guys are it's not gonna show up on camera, but it's a biography of Walt Whitman by Henry Seidel Canby. Let's see, I'll show you this image here. Love to look like that someday. Okay, here we have Born Grown, A History of Oklahoma City. Very cool, written by a local. And when did this come out? 1971, or this was published in 1974. And it was written originally, can't tell. I think it came out in 1974, actually, yeah. Anyways, very cool. I'm excited to read this. I have some interest because I live quite near to Oklahoma City. Whoops, okay. Here we have 2 Library of America volumes. This one I got for $7, and it's some prose by Lincoln from, let's see, I think, okay, 59 to 1865, his death. And then that'll cover all the Civil War. And I didn't think I would have an interest in Lincoln's prose, but in Lecky's None Died in Vain that I just read recently, he printed out some of Lincoln's proclamation, like Emancipation Proclamation and Gettysburg Address in full, and I really liked reading them. So I thought reading some of his speeches would be kind of cool, and his letters in here too, and miscellaneous writings. So I think I'll enjoy that one a lot. And then this one I got for $4, which is just unbelievable. If I ever see a Library of America for less than 10, I'm gonna grab it. Washington Irving, letters of Jonathan Oldstyle, Gent Solomon, History of New York, the sketchbook, History, Tales, and Sketches. $4, cool. Here we have a book by Walter Lord, The Dawn's Early Light. And this is, the subtitle here is The Climactic Shaping of the Land of the Free During the Hazardous Events of 1814 in Washington, Baltimore, and London. And he wrote A Night to Remember, which is it's like a narrative of the sinking of the Titanic, which was wonderful. That was a very captivating book, and you learn so much. I mean, that's what's good about well-written nonfiction is it can be, you can learn a lot from it without it feeling didactic. That's what I'm trying to say. Here we go. We got Simenon, the Widower, and this isn't, oops, look at that glare. This isn't a Mayberry, I don't think. It would say Mayberry, but so this is like one of his more darker and serious novels, I guess. But I have some, mostly, I've only read Mayberry Simenons, but I have some Simenon over there. We'll put this here. And then here we go. I have The Wall by Mary Roberts Reinhardt. It's in wrote art already, which is very nice. And she was a very successful mystery writer in her time, and I haven't read anything by her. I think she is, all but, just about forgotten now, which is a shame. Okay, here we have Custer's Luck by Edgar Stewart. I've heard that this is a really good, first-rate examination of what led to Custer's death at the Battle of the Little Bighorn. It's like it is a biography too, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But it's what led up to it apparently, and I've heard about this through Steve Donahue. Okay. We have 40 Miles a Day on Beans and Hay. And this is about the soldiers' experience during the Indian Wars. And then here we have Auden poetry, collected poems. A little bit, he's a little bit chopped there, but that's okay. Collected poems, look how huge this thing is. How long is this? For like 800 pages. Okay, it's like 900, but I haven't read any of Auden's poetry, but I've read a weird little translation he did, and this isn't from the book haul. I got this on like a sale cart at my local bookstore. This is called Evening Land by Par, I'm not going to say that name, but Swedish guy. And it's a book of poetry, and Auden translated it. And this is a cool little book because it has the original on one side, then it has the Auden translation on the other. Anyways, we'll get back to the book haul. Okay, this is another one-volume history, Inferno by Max Hastings, and this is a newer book, and so yeah, another one-volume history of World War II. So I don't know which one I'll read first, but yeah. Okay, finally, we have this, and I'm very excited to have found this. This is The Fighting Cheyennes by George Bird Grinnell. And this is kind of a history of the Cheyenne tribe. And it covers like the Sand Creek Massacre, which is, you know, in my opinion, the worst thing to happen on U.S. soil. But I heard about this through, I learned about it from the bibliography of Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown. And there's several books in that bibliography that I'm looking for, and this was one of them. So I'm very excited to have this, you know. And I found it for fairly cheap, a lot cheaper than I would have online. So yeah. And that's everything. Yes, that is everything I have today. I think it was 43 books. So I have a lot of reading cut out for me. But if you made it this far, I'm shocked you did, but thank you for watching. This is my longest video by far. But yeah, have a good one.